So the Phoenix Suns have completed their sweep of the Denver Nuggets with a vintage performance from Chris Paul. Something you're going to see on highlight reels 20 years from now. This is going to be one of those games they're going to keep pulling up and coming back to. 36 years old, scored 37 points, 14 for 19 from the field, 9 for 9 from the free throw line. So Paul was about as good as you could have asked for a guy his age. And he played 40 minutes, by the way. He played more minutes than every other player on the Suns team except for Devin Booker, who played 42. So you could not have asked for more from Chris Paul. Devin Booker himself wasn't half bad. Only shot 11 from 25 from the field, only 2 from 8 from 3. But overall, 34 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. That's pretty good. Jay Crowder, 4 blocks, really helps out the defense quite a bit. 10 rebounds as well from him. The bench was all right. We got some production from there. On the other side, Denver losing Jokic in the third quarter with about 5 minutes left, just killer. I don't know how you can rebound from that. I just don't know how. Because your whole offense hypothetically runs through him, even though of the superstars in the NBA, I believe he has the ball in his hands the least out of all the guys you would consider superstars. But that's partially because the way he passes, his facilitation is just so quick. He doesn't necessarily get the ball. He doesn't dribble. He doesn't ISO much. He doesn't do any of that stuff. He gets the ball in his hands. He finds a quick cutter. He finds the person who's open, who's supposed to get the ball, and it goes there. So it's in and out very quickly. But it also means he's a control tower. And you take away the control tower of your offense, what are you going to do? Now, Nuggets stayed in this game they were much closer in this game than I expected them to be. Even at the very end of the game, when the Suns had a sequence where Devin Booker, I think, got a steal, and then there was a whole sequence at the end of the game where it's just on fire. You could feel the excitement from the Suns crowd, people who were in Denver Stadium, where Phoenix Suns fans. You could hear it, and you could hear the excitement from it. And you could just see the excitement on the faces of guys like Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. There's a whole sequence like that with maybe 3 minutes left in the game. And the Suns still came down and hit a 3. They came down and scored a couple of easy layups. And they were still in this game. They were still keeping it within 10 points there. So it wasn't like they quit. It wasn't like they gave up by any means after losing their MVP. But, there's not much you can do. Even if you rally as a team after losing someone like Jokic, it's just not good enough sometimes. Especially against a team that has Chris Paul, the way Chris Paul is playing, and a young guy, DeAndre Ayton, who's certainly an up-and-coming player who might be a top 10 center in the NBA now, and someone like Devin Booker. You just can't win without a star player against that unit, and they don't have one. They don't have Jamal Murray either. So even Michael Porter Jr. going off in the second half just is not enough. Will Barton having a solid game, it's just not enough. Monte Morris as well. But ultimately, Denver loses straight games, 4-0. Complete sweep at the hands of the Phoenix Suns. And I'm really happy for Phoenix. I'm really looking forward to seeing who they match up against in the next round in the Western Conference Finals. Whether it's Utah, whether it's the Clippers, it's going to be a lot of fun. I would like to see Utah, honestly, even though I think the Clippers might be a better matchup for the Phoenix Suns. I would like to see Utah just because it'd be two new teams. You got Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell versus Chris Paul and Devin Booker. You get to see new players go on and start building their legacy, something we haven't seen in quite a while in the NBA Finals. So it'll be very exciting to see, regardless, though, even if it's the Clippers. It'll be fun to see how that works out. But just to recap this game, Denver, I think, led very early in the game. Maybe the first bucket might have gone to them, and that's probably their only lead of the game. So the Suns dominated pretty much from start to finish. It wasn't like they were just sweeping them off the court, though. Like I said, Nuggets were in this game even until the final minutes, and they were still competing hard, still trying hard. And as you left Jokic in there, I think there's a legit chance they win this game because of the fact that it was still so close, despite they lost him just over midway through the third quarter. But that's not what happened. I think we can argue all about whether it should have just been a flagrant 1 instead of a flagrant 2. We can make that argument. And I posted a poll on my Twitter page, which you can find the link to in the description. And I think you'll see that a lot of people agree it should not have been a flagrant 2, but we can't go back. We can't change it. It is what it is. Even though that ultimately affects the outcome of the game so much that it's going to be very frustrating for fans to accept that. But you know what? Sometimes you got to live with it. And all the credit to Chris Paul. It was so fun watching him play tonight. I love watching Chris Paul. This was a vintage performance from him. He's one of my favorite players. So getting to see that was awesome. Devin Booker, like I said, had a solid night. But Phoenix, looking forward, I think this is going to be a really good team. I just don't know. If you match against Utah, Utah's got a lot of depth. 2 of their guys were in the 6th Man of the Year debate. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can match up with a team like Utah that has a lot of depth, or if they can match up against a team like the Los Angeles Clippers, who have guys like Paul George, like Kawhi Leonard, who just, I mean, Jake Crowder would probably draw an assignment there, so would Bridges, but I don't know if that's the combination of matchups with star players that you would want to face if you're the Phoenix Suns. But we'll see in the next round. I'm sure they're going to enjoy resting. The Suns are going to enjoy taking their rest until that point, because that Clippers-Jazz series is going for a little while here. The Phoenix Suns are going to take their time to prepare, get it healthy. And again, a 40-minute night from Chris Paul. I'm sure he's going to be hurting tomorrow. So, great game from the Suns. Great game for the Nuggets. Unfortunately, how it all played out, you would have loved to see Jokic play the entire game. That just wasn't in the cards. But, hopefully, we get to still see some great NBA basketball later this week.